The JSE recently opened trading on its new voluntary carbon market. For more on this and how it will work to offset carbon emissions, we're joined by the Head of Commodities at the JSE, Anelisa Matutu. Anelisa, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Now, just in layman's terms, what will be done on this particular new carbon trading platform?
Yes, thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity. Good evening to you and good evening to your audience. And perhaps I'll take it a little bit back, a step back, and perhaps try and explain at a very high level what these carbon credits are and what renewable certificates are, and how they really come about and how they fit into this JSE Ventures carbon market that we launched last week, Thursday. So pretty much carbon credit represents 1 ton of CO2, carbon dioxide greenhouse emissions reduced or avoided. And renewable energy certificates in turn represent 1 megawatt hour of electricity generated from renewables. And how these credits really come about is that you typically have a project developer who originates a carbon mitigating project, whether through technology, be it carbon storage technology or carbon sequestration technology, a very interesting space. I mean, last week I met some engineers who actually use EV batteries, electric car vehicle batteries coming out from China buses and really repurpose them for electricity generation in South Africa and electricity storage as well. You also find projects that are really nature-based. So that's like your forestry projects or your land use. And again, I'll give another example. I met some project developers which work very closely with farmers down in the Western Cape and really helping them with conservation agriculture as well as regenerative agriculture. And really what these project developers would do then is to use certain methodologies or standards to create projects. And there's various standards globally ranging from your Vera standards, your gold standards, you've got IREX, and locally we've got ZA REX, particularly for renewable energy certificates. And now these project developers would need to prove that indeed their project have reduced greenhouse emissions or their project have indeed generated megawatt hours of electricity from renewables. And the respective standards then, after satisfying themselves, would then issue a carbon credit or issue renewable energy certificates. And I guess the question would be then, what do you do with those credits?
Yeah.
And really, yes. And really what the question is also how and what does the developer do to recoup their investment and so that they can invest in more projects and really help with the decarbonization and create more jobs along the way. So this is where the JSE Ventures carbon market comes in. So the JSE Ventures carbon market is a voluntary carbon market, as you have alluded to, which facilitates market basically. And really we're trying to channel cash flow towards climate mitigating efforts. And the JSE launched this carbon market in partnership with Expansive. They are an infrastructure provider for global environmental markets, and they have foot presence in the US, they have presence in the UK and Australia as well, and they really operate environmental markets. And really this initiative will help our local participants buy and sell carbon credits and renewable energy certificates that are held in either local or global registry. The platform works pretty much on a pre-funded model. So money has to be in an account in order for buyers to indicate their buying interest. And the credits will also need to be on the platform before owners of credits can advertise them for sale in the platform.
So I just want to come in there because it's got a global presence already, which is great. But I'm wondering, with South Africa and the pace at which we are moving to cut our carbon footprint, is it something you find that will receive enough appetite by companies on the JSE?
Yeah. So really, there's a heightened global focus on carbon markets, like you've alluded to. And we saw this as an opportunity to bring this innovative solution to our market participants while we're positioning South Africa as a significant contributor to decarbonization. Now, South Africa, is part of the top 15 highest or highest emitters of carbon globally. And there is an increased need for access to supply of these carbon credits. We also know that there's carbon tax applicable for certain industries, which came into effect in 2019. And there's an allowance to use carbon credit offsets up to 10% on carbon tax liability. And really last year, there was a huge gap between the South African demand of of offsets versus the supply of eligible projects for these credits. And we just don't have enough projects, to generate these carbon credits and fill that gap, amongst other issues. The serious need, to incentivize that financing of carbon mitigating projects. And we think this is a really good step in the right direction to help the development of carbon mitigating projects. And of course, this is a global issue.
Yeah.
Currently, about 23% of emissions are covered by carbon initiatives at the moment. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, my apologies there. We have just run out of time there, but thank you very much for those insights, Anelisa Matutu, who is the head of commodities at the JSE, a very innovative project that is being embarked on there. And that's all your business.